The Seattle Seahawks have decided to release Carlos Dunlap from their roster today. In doing this option, they have freed up $14 million worth of cap space for the league new year. I think this decision was the right decision for the Seattle Seahawks, but it is one that is a little bit hard to look at if you are just a casual fan, in the sense that you're like, what in the world? Why would they release a guy who has made such an impact on a team that was doing absolutely terrible with sacks before he came? Well, that's what I'm hopefully going to be able to describe to you today in this video. Before the Seattle Seahawks had Carlos Dunlap, they had 9 sacks in the first 6 games of the season. Yeah, that is really, really bad. When Carlos Dunlap came over to Seattle, though, they ended up getting 34 sacks in the 9 games of which he was a part of. So ultimately, you have to look at this and think to yourself, what in the world? How does that make any sense? Why are they releasing him? Well, ultimately, I think the reason as to why they are releasing him, he's getting paid a premium price, essentially, for a guy who is older. And now it's not to say that this man can't be at the capacity that he was this past season, but paying someone a near salary as J.J. Watt is going to be a little bit difficult for anyone to accept within the Seahawks organization as a right and good decision for the football team. With a team that is struggling to figure out their identity as a team right now, with everything going on in the news and media, this decision is probably the right decision. I think Seattle will attempt to get him back. I think when they ultimately did the trade back in the time in which they traded for Carlos Dunlap, they knew that this would be something that would come up, that he would test the free agency market and ultimately try to see what's out there. And I think once he sees the market, he's going to realize that he might get around that. I think he's probably going to get around anywhere from 8 to 10 million if I had to guess, when it comes to just looking at his overall production and what he's going to try and fight for. I don't think Seattle will go for that, in my personal opinion, just for the basis that Seattle has some other holes they need to fill that are probably more important. And it doesn't mean that their defensive linemen are not important. I do think, though, that they have a young D-line, but it also isn't the greatest D-line at the current rate that it's at. But they got better as the season progressed, and I think that's something that needs to be reminded for the Seahawks organization as the general manager and coach, that this man helped the team become better. In the last 9 games, they had 34 sacks compared to the 12 in the first 7 games. So his production obviously was more than just his stats. He was a mentor and a veteran for the guys that helped them be better as players. And so hopefully Seattle can figure something out. We'll see what they do, but at the end of the day, $14 million frees up cap space to possibly bring in 2 good linemen on the O-line. Who knows what Seattle's going to do with this move, but they are low on the salary cap. And so they were needing a move that ultimately gives them some way room, or some room to move with, to hopefully better this team and hopefully get back to a Super Bowl contending team here soon, as the quarterback is definitely wanting that. And I'm pretty sure the whole city of Seattle is wanting that, as they know what they have in Russell Wilson. So we shall see what happens in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and a comment, and I shall see you in the next one.